This is Castlevania, played for Dectalon's Hard Games thread on Something Awful. As you can see from the bare bones intro, Castlevania gives no fucks about the story. But just in case you do, Dracula has a castle, you have a whip, and it's your job to kill him. Easy, right? Castlevania lays the groundwork for a lot of hard games in the future, including Demon Souls and Dark Souls. And like many NES games at the time, it has a bunch of dumb hidden shit that you'll never find without a guide. This first room is an introduction to one of the main themes of Castlevania, and something that I'm not really a super fan of, but was very prevalent in a lot of old games, which is infinitely and randomly spawning enemies. The ghouls here are really weak. You can take them out with a hit from your whip, or from the knife. The knife is the first sub-weapon of the game. You press up and B to use your sub-weapons, and the knife just fires in a straight line and does a little damage to whatever it hits. I'm going to skip the watch for now, and go straight for the holy water, which kicks ass. It's basically a grenade that leaves a little bit of fire that enemies can run into. You can damage them with the holy water itself, or the explosion, or the afterfire, so it's really good. One thing I really like about this introductory level is how it treats the sub-weapons. There are 5 sub-weapons in the game: a knife, an axe, a stopwatch, the holy water, and a cross, and you get to use the first 4 of them in this level. I'd like to think that the only reason they don't use the cross in this level is because it's the best weapon, and they want you to at least give everything else a chance before you just spam crosses for the rest of the game. This room introduces bats. I'm not a fan of bats. They're another infinite and random spawning enemy, and they like to spawn when you're in the middle of jumps or over pits. Speaking of infinite and random spawning, fishmen. This room happens to appear in, I think, more Castlevania games than any other room in the entire series. I have no idea why. It's not that cool. It just has a bunch of fishmen. Here I'll demonstrate the stopwatch. It stops everything on the screen for 3 seconds, and it takes more hearts than all of the other ones. An interesting thing about the watch is that while normally entire screen clearing or freezing attacks tend to not work on bosses, especially in these older games, the stopwatch actually does. I've tried it out on at least the first 2 bosses of the game, and it stops them and lets you beat the crap out of them. So that's pretty cool. Now, elevation is no problem for the ghouls. They can spawn above or below, so you're not really safe from them ever. Unless you have that invincibility jar that I picked up, which is thoroughly unnecessary, but whatever, I'll take it. The axe is the last weapon that we'll get here, and since I've killed so many enemies without taking a hit, that block at the end has a 2 in it, and the 2 lets me have 2 axes on the screen at the same time. Normally when you have a sub-weapon you can only have one of them on the screen at the same time. Getting a 2 or a 3 lets you brutalize bosses like that. The vampire bat is basically nothing. Really easy introductory boss to let you know that sometimes you should, maybe switch up your weapon so that you can hit it a little better. And it's easily dispatched. At the end of the level, you get 100 points for every heart you picked up, and you get more points for the amount of time you have left. Points are important because you get extra lives for them. Not that you need them, because you're basically fucked if you die. And we'll take on Stage 2 next time.